My fellow Americans.
Yes, we can.
How many times have you ever said to yourself, I could do a much better job than this guy if I were president?
If I Were President lets you weigh in on the issues that matter most.
Mr. President, Mr. President! If I were president, it allows you to get in touch with your inner politician and his evil twin, the media.
Your future as leader of the free world begins at IfIWerePresidentGame.com.
Someone videotaped you working out in a private and secured environment. Address a security breach with your Secret Service in a closed-door meeting. Well, members of the Secret Service, as you know, we had a security breach recently where someone actually filmed me working out in a private environment. I expect you guys to take your job seriously because you affect the entire country. Incidents like this can't happen. Right now, we have a full investigation going on to see where the breach took place, and those who are responsible for the breach, unfortunately, we're going to have to terminate them.
I have a rebuttal, Mr. President.
Yes.
Now, Mr. President, all due respect, however, if you put yourself in a position where we cannot properly service you, then I'm not sure if we should be held responsible for that.
Have you ever watched the news or had conversations with your family and friends about issues affecting our government today and thought to yourself, if I were president, I would have handled that totally different? Well, today, we're going to watch folks just like you get in the hot seat and transform into the President of the United States. They're going to make those decisions that's going to guide this country.
How do you plan to address the rise in fast food workers protesting low wages? I've called for the increase in minimum wage to $15 across America. Now it's up to Congress to pass this bill. Over this past year, Congress has done nothing. They do nothing, Congress. Everything I propose, they say no. They voted no for the American people over and over and over again. And I'm on the side of the protesters. I believe you cannot make a living wage off of $7.25. You cannot support a family. You cannot support yourself individually as well.
I got Mr.
Okay, we have two rebuttals.
Mr. President, I mean, out of all due respect, honestly, the $15 is great. That's a great gesture. However, don't you think that you should be a little more reasonable? Because if you increase minimum wage to $15, that means other jobs that are not minimum wage has to increase as well.
Why should the other wages increase because we're increasing minimum wage? If we increase the minimum wage, that adds growth for the economy.
I'm not against increasing wages for anyone. I'm not saying that I can't increase the wages for my employees. $15 will close me down in a month.
Yes.
We scheduled a meeting in my office next week to discuss. Maybe we can meet in the middle. Maybe we can meet at 10:25.
Yeah.
In light of the recent law legalizing marijuana, there has been a shortage of snacks across the U.S. How do you explain this to a group of elementary students? Well, children, what I must say is I do acknowledge there has been a shortage of snacks since marijuana has been legalized. What I propose to do about that is I'm going to meet with Congress and we're going to enact a series of laws that will help me to track more snacks within your schools in addition to your lunch menus so that there will no longer be a
You have a rebuttal.
Yeah.
So you said,
Yes.
Madam President, that you are going to talk with Congress to increase the snacking amongst our kids in school. But aren't there obesity issues in America with younger children?
Yes, there sure are issues with our younger children. In addressing the question, because marijuana has been legalized, and I suppose that those who are partaking in the marijuana have eaten up the snacks, and so there aren't enough in the schools. I will work to have more in the schools, but I did not reference what kind of snacks.
Thank you, Ms.
So the
President.
type of snacks would be great. Marijuana has been legalized because some people are sick and they use it for medicinal purposes. They use it as medicinal. They use it for medicine. For example,
I know, President.
There you go.
God, why must we rebut everything?
If I Were President takes players on the whirlwind experience of life in the Oval Office.
Are you in? Nah, politics isn't my thing. I'll be Secretary of State.
No, I'll be Secretary of State because I'm much more diplomatic. You be Secretary of Defense.
Some diplomacy.
What surprised me most about this game was how much it made me feel like I was in control of current affairs. And I was really able to get into character and feel like I was running the country.
As president, should you act as a delegate to the people, do what you're told, or act as a trustee, do what you think is right? As president, the people elected me, and I should do what I think is right.
Maybe you'll appoint a justice to the Supreme Court or enact a sweeping education reform. Each 4-year term in If I Were President is filled with opportunities to up your approval rating and walk away a winner. Or leave the American people feeling lukewarm about your performance.
My views have not changed because I don't think we should let just every Tom, Dick, and Harry drill out in our ocean. I mean, after all, what about the shortage of fish? What about the tilapia?
What? Are you serious? Tilapia?
Yeah, everybody loves tilapia.
When I initially walked by, I was kind of curious as to what was going on. And then when I heard that absurd answer, I knew I had to get into the game because I knew my vote had to count.
Think you might have trouble rattling off the names of world leaders or remembering what they call money in Korea? No problem. The Foreign Affairs Reference Pack, or FARP, has got you covered. But be careful.
Their male force is estimated at 231,161 people.
FOB Code 131 violation. We interrupt If I Were President because you are reading from the Foreign Affairs Reference Pack during your turn. Try again.
Whether you are caught up in a media frenzy, making your State of the Union address, or struggling to get legislation through Congress, If I Were President places you smack dab in the middle of real tough decisions that have to be made. Questions are updated quarterly online, so every round of If I Were President is supercharged with current events.
My fellow Americans,
how many times have you said to yourself, I could do a better job than this guy if I were president? Your future as leader of the free world begins at IfIWerePresidentGame.com.